Hey guys, me here. This isn't really like a normal upload. Um, Anyways, you guys can skip to the timestamp for the actual music stuff. But here's me filibustering for a minute or two or something. But like it's roughly a year ago I started doing this. Um, like a few days off. Whatever, timing isn't great. But what I also did roughly almost a year ago was I also started doing a lot of live vocal performances, and they're all jazz related. So if you're not into jazz, I'm sorry to say that, but I do be kind of one of those guys. Um, but I figured some of you are here for my voice, right? And not because of anything else, you know. So I figured, this might be a neat gift for uh you guys, as a anniversary thing of just, hey, look, a year ago I was also doing this, and you guys could kind of see how I grew as a vocalist. I know, like, most of you guys aren't here for me to sing, but I do it, and it would have been a lot to me if you guys at the very least, like, you know, sat down and listened, because I like it. Anyways, that's all for me. I'm just a long playlist. It's probably like the lamest playlist you could ever listen to. But hey, it's by me, the Not a Bottom McGee.
Don't you notice how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you in awkward silence. Don't you dare look at me that way. I don't need reminders of how you don't feel the same. Oh, the burning pain, listening to you harp on mouth so new, so made. They're so perfect, blah, blah, blah. Oh, how I wish you'll wake up one day. Run to me, confess your love, at least just let me say that when I talk to you, oh, Cupid walks right through and shoots an arrow through my heart. And I sound like a, but don't you feel it to confess I loved you from the start. Ba-na-na-na. What am I to do, lying on my bed staring into the blue? Unrequited, terrifying love is driving me a bit cuckoo. Have to get this off my chest. I'm telling you today that when I talk to you, oh, Cupid walks right through and shoots an arrow through my heart. And I sound like a, but don't you feel it to confess I loved you from the start? Confessed I've loved you, just thinking of you. I know I've loved you from the start. I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies What a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so lovely in the sky, are also on the faces of fellas passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're simply saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, and I'll watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand, please. In other words, honey, won't you kiss me? Hey, fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, in other words, in other words, I love you.
All right!
That's life. That's what all the people say. You're doing well in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that too. 'Cause I'll be right up on top and true. I say that's life. And as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. But I won't let it keep me down. 'Cause this final world, it keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out. But I know one thing, I know one thing. Each time I find myself laying flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life, that's life, and I won't deny it. Many times I've thought of quitting, but my heart won't buy it. And if there's nothing shaking come this here July, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball and the autumn leaves drift by the window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips, those summer kisses, the sunburned hands that I used to hold. And when you went away, the days feel long. Here it comes, winter's lonely song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. Summer kisses, the sunburned hands that I used to hold. And when you went away, the years felt long. Here it comes, winter's cold song. But I miss you most of all, my darling, when autumn leaves start to fall. Those little leaves start to fall. When autumn leaves, they go and start to fall. To the moon, let me play among them stars. Let me see what things are like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand, please. In other words, honey, why not kiss me? Hey, fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, honey, please be true. In other words, in other words, in other words, I love
Two, three, four.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really would care for. And then you suddenly appeared before me, the only one my heart could have. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And then the moon had turned to gold. Guess who's no longer alone? I got a dream in my heart. I got a love of my own. And then you suddenly appeared before me, the only one my heart could ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Now I'm no longer alone. I have a dream in my heart. I have a love of my own. I got a love of my own.
there will be there at the
waves
door.
upon a tropical
The
shore.
painted arms, my
Gosh, those lips
indigestion.
look
But maybe
delicious.
just a cigarette more.
Never such a blizzard
I've
before.
got a drink more.
Baby, you'll freeze out there.
Say, lend me a
It's
coat.
up to those knees out there.
You really
I thrill when you touch my hand.
Don't you see?
How can you do this thing to
There's
me?
meant to be talk
Think
tomorrow.
of my lifelong
At least
sorrow.
there will be plenty of
If you got pneumonia and
I really
died,
can't
baby, don't hold out. Baby, it's cold Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, I always go up. When she walks, it's like a samba that swings so cool and sways so gentle that when you pass, you always go ooh la la. But I watch her so sadly. How can I tell her I love her? Yes, I would give my heart gladly. But each day when she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at me. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, I smile, but she doesn't see. the moon. It's the name of this song. How high the moon. Yes, the words aren't that wrong. We're doing this because we all feel like it.